It's a bit like what I was talking about in set designing, where you're on sets, you're designing environments, you're painting, you're building and all of these cool things. And then one day you might feel like, do you know what, I could do this for myself. Like, I've got such a good network, people love me for my work, I could charge a bit more and actually facilitate everything. So it doesn't really matter which way you go about it. In terms of answering your question of how do you start a business, business is a lot more simple than people make out in terms of at the initial starting point. All you really need to do is start. So for me, I always recommend, if you are interested in business, the easiest thing to start is like a service-based business. So for example, I could tomorrow go and buy a jet washer. It might cost me £500 and then I could just become Jordan's jet washing. And I go around and I just jet wash, like, do you know what a jet washer is? So yeah, I would just be able to go around and jet wash people's bins or their patio floors or whatever and just sell the service of me being able to do that. So I'm gonna buy the equipment, I'm gonna create a way to market it. You lot are all good with social media because you're young, you're in that generation. I could create an Instagram, I could go to my own house, jet wash my bin, record it, jet wash my patio, get a before and after picture. So get my material, put it on my Instagram, put it on my website, put it on whatever, and then just show people, look, this is what I do. And then now basically charge them to do it. That is how simple starting a business is. I can say it again in terms of me. So I started, my company is called London Lighting, and it was basically, we just sort of provide lighting equipment for people. And it literally started by us buying a set of lights, saying, cool, like someone's doing this, why can't we? We took pictures of the lights. We had a friend who was already a videographer who we knew that he could get us like to basically work with him as like a sort of handout. We recorded it, put it on Instagram, followed loads of people, messaged loads of people, oh look, we've got these lights, this is our price, like if you need them, let me know. Obviously people that would actually rent that service, so we've done a bit of research. And then lo and behold, if we messaged like 100 people, 2 or 3 of them might have replied, but now that's 2 or 3 clients. So we was charging we was like selling our service for like £150 for like 4 hours work. So straight away, that's a few £100 made. And now you have more material that you can post and show people that you're doing it. And then people are gonna trust you. It's called social proof, basically. If you show yourself doing something, people can now see, okay, cool, Jordan's an expert in this, we should hire him, other people are hiring him. So that's how you start a business, really. It's very simple. Obviously, it gets more complicated after, and like in terms of the legalities behind things and whatever, but I feel like anything you want to do, whether it's starting a business, whether it's getting a job, whether it's anything, try and keep it in its most simplest form at the start, or it's very easy to get overwhelmed. A lot of the pressures that you're going to feel, very, very normal. A lot of the apprehensions that you're going to feel, a lot of the fear that you're going to feel with things are extremely normal. You need to try and like do your best to keep things simple and as underwhelming as possible, and that will give you like a better advantage over people. I'm going to pick on you in the back. What do you want to do, ideally?
I don't know yet. I think I'm interested in like science and medicine.
Yeah. So what sort of like, do you like consume content around science? Do you like watch videos? Do you like research about it?
Yeah, like something that maybe like reading articles about it, reading stuff.
Good, that's perfect. Anyone who doesn't know what you want to do, how old are you lot, 13, 14, 15? Good, it's fine. Like, it's genuinely fine to not know what you want to do. It's genuinely fine to think you want to do something today, change your mind tomorrow. But like, what was your name, sorry? Neseba. What Neseba is doing is really good. Like, she's researching. Naturally, if you just sort of like position yourself around something, you'll start to learn more, and you'll start to, like, what you don't know is what you don't know. So Neseba might not know exactly what she wants to do. She knows she likes science. She's going to watch this science YouTuber. She's going to read this science article. And then suddenly you're going to see patterns. Suddenly you're going to be in proximity to actually work out and get bits of information about what you might want to know. And then lo and behold, in a couple of years, you might see something or see someone doing something and think, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, maybe this is what I want to do. You try it, might fail, might go wrong, change your mind. But that's how you end up finding out the things that you want to do. It's not I promise you right now, it's not going to be something you go sleep tomorrow, you wake up, I've got it. I've got the perfect idea now. This is exactly what I want to do. Like, nothing really happens like that. It's much more of a process, much more of a culmination of things that will lead you to it, if that makes sense. What do you want to do? Oh, no, go on. I'm going to save you for a second because you've got a hand up at the back. Go ahead.
Like if I say things, do you ever feel like pressured or encouraged by teachers?
Yeah, even on my YouTube, I made a video the other day talking about like 3 things I wish I knew when I was like 16. And being at this age is more, I do remember being 16. I'm 27, I'm not that old. You lot are trying to call me Unc now and stuff, I'm seeing it, but I'm not that old. But I do vividly remember being at these sort of ages because I feel like they're very defining in your life. And there's a lot more pressure than I feel like you lot get credit for. It's not easy, especially in the social media world. Like, it is very difficult. So yes, it's probably even a little bit harder for you lot now than it was for me back then because of like the things of social media. So yes, there is a lot of pressure. What I will say, sorry miss, sorry sir, GCSEs are very, very important. It's good for 2 reasons. You should want to do them and do well in them because of the discipline and the fact that doing good at anything is always good. And also in terms of getting to your next stage in life, uni, college, you're going to need your GCSEs, but they are not the be all and end all. If you don't do well in your GCSEs, it does not mean, oh my gosh, my life is ruined. It is not this massive, massive thing that's going to follow you forever. I don't remember the last time I used my GCSEs, probably not since I was about 19, 20, trying to get certain jobs. So at the end of the day, they are important. You should want to do well with them, but do not have it to a point where you're so stressed out, you're feeling under so much pressure, you're nervous, or you're feeling these negative emotions that aren't going to push you to do well. They're just going to push you to sort of want to run away from them. And that's my honest opinion when it comes to GCSEs, because that's going to be the bulk of your pressures at these ages. Obviously, GCSEs and like social stuff, in terms of the GCSE side, I promise you, even if you don't do well, even if you don't do as expected, it will be fine. You will be, I know plenty of people that done really badly at GCSEs and it was fine for them. And this is something, I actually done good at GCSEs. It's changed for you lot now, but I got 6 A's, 4 B's and 1 C. So I'm saying that from a standpoint of you should still do good with them, but they're not going to be your be all and end all. In terms of like the social side and stuff like that, there's a lot of pressures. It's really hard to give advice on it. It's really hard to, especially for teenagers, you lot are changing, you lot are growing, you lot are working out, but just try and be confident in yourself, try and love yourself, try and understand that you have value in this world, no matter what. It doesn't matter the money you make, it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter where you come from. You're no better than her, she's no better than him, you're all equal people. And if you try and stay from there and block out any negativity, it's fine. A lot of the people, obviously you get a lot older, I'm 27 now, like, things change. It doesn't matter, like, the sort of social contracts that you'll see, the pecking orders that you'll think you'll see, this person's popular, this person's not, I promise you it doesn't matter. There's friends that I was with. I feel like I got a really good side of school because I was really smart, but I was also really sociable. I felt like I dealt with sort of everyone. So I'd be in the top sets with all the children that might not be seen as popular or whatever, or they're more quiet. And then I would be outside with all the more popular kids or whatever who might not be as smart and stuff like that. Like, I feel like I had a really good understanding of, like, some of my friends now who are like in the top sets who might not have been cool in school, I promise you they're the cool ones now when they're working at these tech companies and they're doing things. One of my friends went to Harvard and he did really well and now he's selling businesses and stuff like that. And he wasn't the coolest person in school. He wasn't a boy that got all the girls, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't a footballer or all of these things. Like, so what I'm trying to say is it doesn't really matter where you are now. It doesn't matter the little pressures that you feel in school. Things change a lot. And at the end of the day, if you're true to yourself, if you're a kind person and you're focused on trying to get to where you're going to go, I promise you, you will be the cool person when you're older. You will be the successful person. You will be the person that your parents are proud of. And that stuff matters a lot more, really. So, yeah. Coming back to you now. What do you want to do?
I want to like work in technology and do services and IT and stuff.
Good. Do you code already? Do you practice? Do you learn? Do you watch stuff?
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm not like too confident yet.
Yeah, that's fine. It's good. Try and learn. I tried coding for a bit. Didn't work for me. It was a bit difficult, but my business, the new business I'm starting now, is like a tech business, and my CTO, which is the chief technical officer, so he's the person that does all the coding and technical stuff. He's very good at it. Builds loads of websites, builds loads of apps. He's worked for like really big companies and stuff like that. All his friends, like technical managers at Depop or like coding their own businesses and stuff like that. So it's a really cool thing to get into. Obviously this world now There's a lot of AI. You can go on like Claude Code. You can build your own app by tomorrow. So you have spare time, practice these things, try. See, the quicker you do them, the quicker you know if this is actually something you want to do long term, or maybe it's just a phase right now, you don't want to do it and you move on. But just try, have fun, try and do the things that you're thinking of doing and sort of learn as quick as possible. What about, go on at the back.
What were some of the obstacles you had whilst creating your business?
Loads of obstacles, man. What were some of the obstacles I didn't have? I feel like, there's loads. I feel like a big obstacle is, at the end of the day, in school, we don't really learn about money, unfortunately. I'm not sure if it's changed much now, but from what I know, you don't learn about money as much, which means as you start to get older and you get a bit more independent and you have to deal with money a bit more, unless you have parents that have taught that to you or you've grown up in it, it's going to be hard. I know friends that went uni, got their student loan, and then after a few weeks, they're on like a noodles only diet for the rest of the year because they've blown through the thousands of pounds that they've got as an advance because they didn't understand the simple concepts of things like budgeting. I was a bit more luckier because my mum used to teach me stuff, but to go back to your question, understanding how to actually manage money when you get it can be difficult, and it's a lot. So there was times in my business where I'm making a lot of money, like I said it on stage, and took like 40,000 to 50,000 pounds a month. But it's not, okay, I'm rich now. It doesn't work like that. You have to pay your tax, you have to pay VAT, you have to pay your staff or whoever's helping you. You have costs for your business. So it's like, there's a lot of ways that you have to sort out these things and understand that, no, this money needs to go to tax. This is not money that I can spend. Some people spend money that isn't even theirs to spend because they're making it. So it's like, it's hard for me to go and like explain fully without going in like really detail, which we won't have the time for. But it's just understanding basic principles of money is something that was a real challenge that everyone's going to face, whether you've got a business, whether you've got an interior design job, whether you're working for a charity. These are stuff that you're going to need to know. So it would be good to research, or you're going to be like me and you're going to learn the hard way with some stuff. Other challenges, hiring people. We was talking about it already. Hiring people is very, very difficult. You've probably got a lovely teacher here in front of you, but you could have also had a not so lovely one. So it's like, when you're in charge, trying to hire people and know who's going to be a reflection of you, who's actually going to allow you to leave a room. Like Mr. Larkin, well, he's not who would have hired Miss, but Mr. Larkin can leave the room and be confident that Miss is going to be able to actually share the values of the school and the cultures of the school and things like that. If you get the wrong person in those places, it can be detrimental because now 20 children are going to be dealing with the wrong values and things like that. So hiring is really difficult. And just in general, like, it's tough. Everything is tough when you get older. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You get a lot of pressures. You're going to start to have children. You're going to start to have families, all of these beautiful things, but they are very, very difficult. So it's just about balancing some of these things and actually knowing what to do, what to say yes to, what to say no to, and stuff like that. What is it you want to do? Do you know? That's fine. I promise you it's fine. It's going to change. You might think tomorrow's this. It might be something else, but just learn as much as possible because that is the easiest way you will know. Just consuming content, reading books, positive things as well. Obviously, you're not going to be on TikTok, you're going to be playing games, you're going to do fun stuff, but try and mix it with education outside the school hours as well on the things that you actually like or value, or the podcast you want to listen to, or stuff like that, and you'll learn quicker. What about you? What do you want to do? Yeah. Architecture, sick. What made you even want to do that?
Just that drawing, and I found drawing buildings and like the details in it interesting to me.
Are you good at drawing? Good. So that touches on something that I was saying in the assembly as well. What are you good at? At the end of the day, some people are really good at things and they might not think they want to do it, but like, God's given you a gift for a reason, do you know what I'm saying? Like, try and lean into that sometimes. If he's really good at architecture and he can draw the details of a building like that, like the back of his hand, it might be something worth, do you know what I mean? There might be a reason you're actually good at architecture rather than trying to do something that you're not as good at or you don't even like and you're wasting time in it just for reasons that don't really align with you. So look at yourself and think, what am I good at? Go on.
Do you think the people around you influence like what career choice you make?
Yeah, this is a great question because that's another big thing as well in terms of not even just career choices that you make, just the decisions that you make in general. If there's anything that there's a few things that I'll say, but like have the friends that you have are going to be really important as you grow up. The places that you're in, the environments that you're in, the values and morals that the people around you have are going to be very, very important. So you need to be aligning yourself with people that are on what you're on, basically. Like, if you can see someone is bringing you closer to negative things, they're probably not going to be someone that you should be around. If you can see someone's bringing you closer to positive things, they are probably going to be someone that you should be around. I understand the pressures of peer pressure. I understand all of these things. At the end of the day, you need to be true to yourself, be strong, and really, like, I really want to hone in on that one, because your friends, the people around you, the proximity of the environments that you're in, that's going to have a massive effect on you. If you have 5 rich friends and you're the 6th person, what do you think you're going to be? If you have 5 smart friends and you're the 6th person, what do you think you're going to be? If you have 5 friends that do interior design, how much do you think that's going to raise your chances of being an interior designer? You have 5 people you can ask questions to. You have 5 direct experiences of what you want to do. You have 5 people with networks where you want to be. It's just maths. If you have 5 friends that are smoking, drinking, doing all of these things, what do you think you're going to be? At the end of the day, it wouldn't even make you a bad person if you start doing certain things around certain people. It's just common sense. It's going to be very hard to be around certain people and constantly not do the things that they do. You're going to feel like the outsider. You're going to feel like maybe this is okay. Like, you're going to see things normalized. So, and that starts from now, whether you're 14, whatever. The people that you're around, it matters. And I know you're going to look at someone, oh, I really like this person, though. Like, or do you know what? They're really good for this. It doesn't really matter if they don't align with the stuff that you should be doing or the stuff that you know deep down you actually want to do. There's a time and place. So, for example, I've got friends that are really good in some ways, but they're also really bad for me in other ways. So it's not that, okay, I never talk to this person again, he can't be my friend. No, do you know what? This person's really loyal. If there was ever an issue, I know they would be there. So I can keep them as a friend for that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to business, they're not good with money, they're not motivated, they're not whatever. When I'm around them, they're bringing me down. I can't have them in my business. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like understanding these things but it's a really, really good question. And it's something that, if there's one thing I can leave you with today, it's definitely your environment. It will help you. I think I would have been a lot further in my life now if I was around people that were constantly pushing me rather than me being the person that I feel like is dragging the people around me. It makes a massive, massive difference. Another thing that will make a massive difference for you lot as 14-year-olds is a really good quote. And it's basically, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. Another way that I know for a fact I would have been a lot further in my life is if I just focused more on certain things. If you can figure out tomorrow that you love interior designing and you know that's what you love, at 14 now, by the time you're 25, you'll have 11 years experience in that. That is invaluable. That is insane. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't even figure out what I wanted to do until I was 21, at least, or like at least really starting with something and sticking with it. So you got 7-8 years on someone like me. So it really, really compounds. Everyone will start things and think, all right, cool. Kyson at streaming, I love streaming. I'm really interested. I'm going to be a streamer. I'm going to be the biggest streamer in the world by next year. And then they're not. I don't want to do streaming anymore. That's not how you should be deciding what you want to do, because it's just going to lead you to chopping and changing, being insecure about yourself, focusing on results when it's not exactly results that always matter, and it's just not the best strategy. So really understand that across a longer time frame, because things compound, you can get a lot further if you just stick at one thing and you're really, really focused. Anyone that you know that's going to be a footballer, I pretty much guarantee they've probably been playing football since they're 5. They might look like, oh, he just kicks a ball around. But by the time they're 16, they've got 11 years experience in something. Some of my friends, again, streamers, coders, things like that, they were doing these things since they were kids. I'm talking like 9, 10. So by the time we're 21 now, they've done something for 12 years. That's invaluable. They know so much. You see the YouTubers and stuff like that were doing it before it was even cool. And it's like, how did they do it? It might look like things are overnight successes. It's not. People skills genuinely compound. There's a really good analogy, and it's like, if I put an ice cube in this room right now, and I'm going to try and get it to melt by turning up the heater. It's at 25 degrees, it's not melting. 26 degrees, not melting. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Turn it to 32 degrees now. Suddenly the shift from 31 to 32 degrees starts to melt it. Did anything change? No, it was still in a 1% or 1 degree incremental change, but the actual shift of the work before has now started to pay off. So it's not that something is just going to happen overnight. No, it's much more that you will keep doing something and eventually something will start to melt the ice. So you have to keep going at things. If I knew that when I was younger, I might not even be in this room right now. Do you know what I'm saying? I might be on a beach somewhere in Jamaica just living my life. So yeah. What about you? What do you want to do?
Probably something in maths.
Yeah, good. You good at maths?
Something creative.
You good at maths?
Yeah.
Good. I've got a son, he's 2 years old, he's very good at maths. Like, he's really, really good. Times tables, everything. So I was decent at maths. But yeah, that's good. Again, same thing I'd say. Research, watch things, see your options, see how maths is in the world. Because you might think, I really like maths, I want to do something in maths. There's maths in everything. Do you know what I mean? Maths is just calculations and numbers. Like, you might see something else and you can see the mathematical side and it's like, okay, I like maths, but it means I can do this because maths is related to this. It doesn't have to just be, I need to be specifically in, do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's loads of potential in this room. You lot can do anything you want, but it's just going to take a bit of time, a bit of effort and a bit of intention. I feel like that gets missed out a lot. Anyone else want to speak about? This is a good moment to speak. This is another thing. When I'm going to come to you in a second. When you have opportunities to ask questions, ask them. Don't be shy. Like, ask them, because you might not know when you're going to get the next chance to have conversations with a transparent person who will just tell you things as they are. Go on.
Has someone ever said something to you that stuck with you to this day?
Yeah, multiple things. One thing that's like sticking with me a lot now is I watch a lot of things, and that's how I learn a lot. So again, sorry to digress, but you can learn in different ways. You might be an audio learner, you might be a visual learner. It doesn't matter. Just because someone says read a book doesn't mean you need to read a book. If you learn visually better, then watch a podcast. Like, learn how you want. But I listen to like a lot of like Stephen Bartlett and stuff like that. And there was one thing that he said one time. He was basically talking about, he had this company, and imagine it was worth 100 million here in the UK. All he did was essentially list it in another country, and it was worth 8 times more. So I say that to say, the environment that you're in, sometimes you don't need to change your work, sometimes you don't need to change your effort, sometimes you don't need to change your strategy, nothing. All you need to do is change where you are, and you might get much more rewards out of what you're doing. So say, for example, like even with my business, for example, so I started with lighting, so I do lighting, but lighting is quite niche. There's only so much people that can need lighting. So I felt like I was doing really well. I felt like I can do well anywhere that I go, because I have that level of confidence now that if I can get my hands in something, I could get 1% of a whole industry, for example. Why would I then do that in a place that's only worth 10 million when I could do that in a place that's worth 1 billion? Because my same effort, my same intentions, my same strategy is just going to be worth 10 times more by simply just shifting where I'm putting the work, if that makes sense. So do you understand what I'm saying? Like, is everyone following what I mean by that? Because it's something that you'll understand a bit more as you get older, but literally, if you put the same effort just into a place where your effort's appreciated more, you will get better results without having to change what you're doing. So that's why it's like you have to be intentional with what you do, where you are. And that's why I was asking the question on the stage in terms of like, does money motivate you? Like, you have to ask yourself some of these things, because then you'll know what you need to do to actually achieve what you want as a person. If you don't care about money, there's no point doing certain things. So there's certain things that I don't like that I have to do, but I'm doing it because it's necessary. If I didn't care about certain things, I wouldn't recommend doing them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to really ask yourself questions, learn who you are, talk to yourself, and as you do that, more and more and more, you'll sort of create your own path for yourself, and things will fall into place, because you'll know, I'm not doing that. That compromises my values. I don't care if that person does it. I'm not doing that. I'm not, do you know what I'm saying? Or I love this. Like, I could do this for the rest of my life. This is something that I need to do. So you have to ask yourself these questions. What about you? What do you want to do?
I'm not really sure yet, but I want to be an optician.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm more like interested in like how it works.
Yeah.
Like work.
Good. Perfect. Have you ever had issues with eyesight, or has it ever stemmed from something like that? Or
No, but I have like family members.
no issues?
So like, I wanted to research it.
Good. I'd recommend it. Just research, talk to people. Even what you're saying there is a way that a lot of people actually start businesses, because a big way that people start businesses is by solving problems. So you'll hear of loads of stories. Say, for example, like in your case, it could be, I'm going to make up a scenario, but you could have a sister and she had really bad eyesight, and it's like you saw the downsides of it, and that is something that sort of built a fire in your belly that led you to go and create glasses that allow you to see 500 meters away. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, made up scenario, but solving a problem is a really good way to start a business. And sometimes you just have to look in your life and just think, oh, like this person, I know they have eczema and nothing seems to work for them. Like, maybe I could make something that works for them because I've got hands-on experience. Or this person has eyesight issues, or do you know what, I'm using my computer every day and this mouse doesn't feel right, maybe I can make it better. Like, just thinking, what problems could I solve? Like, what is something that I've noticed that's an issue that no one else really has? Or do you know what I'm saying? And that's a good way to start business if you're ever interested in it, or just progress thinking on stuff. Go ahead.
I think like build up your CV or like get good enough qualifications if you want to like get into a certain job.
That's a good question. Cool. Yeah. Talk about enough about business. Now let's talk a bit more about like sort of CV, corporate world, and getting jobs. Building up your CV is a tough one because you need experience for a job, but you also need a job for experience. So it's like sometimes it's like, well, where do I start? Especially as a young person. But a good way to start is using your network. So, for example, trying to find people that are going to have a bit of favouring for you because you're you. So imagine your auntie owns a shop that you could work at. It's much more likely that you could go there and get a bit of work experience than just randomly go into Westfield trying to give out your CV. And then now, say for example, you did that with your auntie, they can put it down, you've done this sort of work. Now you've got a bit more on your CV to go and give out. So anyone who wants to build their CV, especially in this world where like skills are becoming more valuable, I'd say try and look close to you. What's the easiest way you can sort of get into employment, especially in the lanes that you want to go? Is there anyone that's close to your family, close to your parents, that can offer you a little handout, offer you a little job that you can go and be able to get a bit of experience, put it down, using the teachers, using the people around you? It's going to be a lot easier than just trying to randomly go to places where they don't really know you. There's hundreds of people like you asking them for things, and it's going to be harder to stand out. A good little bit of advice, I would say, if you're ever trying to like reach someone, send them a letter. In this day and age, everything is much more social media, Instagram, DM, email. But like emails get lost very easily. I sent Mr. Larkin an email earlier, went to his spam. He never would have seen it. Like if I didn't have to send it to him again. Instagram, people DM me every day. I miss them very easily. But there was a time when I needed, like I identified someone could help me. I really needed to get through to them. I tried through social media, it didn't work. So what you can do, if anyone has a registered business, you can basically find out where their business address is. So I typed in her name online, basically, found out where her business address is, and I just sent her a letter. I didn't write it down. You could go on like Print Pigeon or something like that, and it will type up a letter, but it will send it by Royal Mail because everyone looks at their letters. I'm pretty sure Sir looks at his letters. Pretty sure Miss looks at his letters. I don't miss a letter if it comes in my house because I ain't trying to pay tickets and get all these fines and stuff. So it's a very, very good way that's going to make you stand out. That's easy to sort of get through to people. So say there was someone and there's this cool work experience that you want to get on and you can find their name online, send them a letter. That's another way to sort of stand out. In terms of as you get older, I feel like we're in a world now where in terms of like CV, qualifications, things like that, I'm starting to see studies where skills are starting to matter just as much as qualifications are. So if you can't go out and get work, or if you might not be the most academic person who's going to get the best grades and stand out in that way, learning skills is a good thing to do. Skills that are related to what you do, online courses, things like that. Coding. If I apply and I say, yeah, say you're 18 now and you're trying to get jobs or like go down this lane. I've been coding for 4 years now and I'm applying for a tech job and you haven't been coding and you're applying for a tech job, but you've both got the similar grades, who do you think is going to get the tech job? Much more likely the person who's coding or the person who's actually been building their skills. So I'd very much recommend, same thing with like interior design and stuff like that, like try and find ways to sort of, or whatever anyone's interested in, try and find ways to build your skills in these areas or at least complementary areas. So try and find ways to build your skills in, or at least complementary areas, and it will give you a much better chance in this sort of world nowadays. And like I'm literally looking at like studies on it, so I can say for a fact that skills-based hiring is becoming a lot more than like qualifications. Anyone else have gone?
I was going to add to the CV's bit, so it's volunteering as well.
Yeah, volunteering is good.
In the school, in your community, any skill that you're doing, it's your church, your mosque, youth club. Sometimes for younger people like you, you've got volunteering at church, in the community centre, you're doing something, it's not paid, and you can say, I volunteer at my church, I've organised this and this, because what people look for on your CV is, what was the situation, what was the task, what was the action, and what was the result.
Yeah.
So today, you guys came to school, situation was coming to school, you got ready for school, you got dressed for school, you're at school. So if you can break those, but just for any kind of volunteering you do, even if it's family, if you've got family, if you organise a wedding, even a birthday party. Look at a birthday party, break down the task for that birthday party. What did you do? Who's organised the party recently? Anyone? Hands up. No. Miss, what did you do for your party? Give us the 4 things that you did, Miss, for the party.
Send the invite, book the place, bought a cake, remind the government wants to turn up.
Good. So can you
the
lot?
party didn't happen in one go. Miss did those things in sequence. And again, for someone like Jordan, who's an employer, he gets a letter from you after today, and you say, I've done it. You think, actually, this person can do this, this, and this. So if I give them a task, they can break things down.
Yeah.
You're doing that every day in school. You're going from one lesson to another.
And it's about understanding the skills behind what Miss has done. So Miss has bought a cake. That's budgeting, that's money management. She's understanding what's the price. She has a budget, she needs to make it fit in the budget. She's sending out invites. That's outreach, that's sales, that's marketing. How do you make that invite appealing? So now it's your job to say, look, yeah, I might have worked in you don't even need to say it's your auntie's, say for example, you worked in your auntie's restaurant. You don't even need to say that. You just say, look, I worked here. I dealt with people every day and I communicated effectively with them. I felt what it was like to work in a high pressure environment. You're just basically selling yourself, and it's giving you an opportunity to do it, and you actually have proof that you've done it. So it's really good. And the other thing in terms of what Sir was saying about volunteering and working for free and stuff like that, you lot are a bit young, so it's still a bit easier. When you get to my age, you don't want to work for free as much because for obvious reasons you have things to pay for. But like today, for example, I'm here for free because money isn't the only way you can get value. There's things that are going to be valuable to you outside of you actually getting money in your pocket. So volunteer, as long as you can see a gain long term where this is going to make sense, which is like you're saying, look, I'm in a position where I need to build my CV, I haven't got much options. If I volunteer, okay, I'm not going to get money for it. Okay, it might be a bit annoying, but at the end of the day, this is going to help my CV long term. That's the value that I'm going to get from it. Furthermore, even to touch on that, I've done free work for people in my business. Some of the free work that I've done for people has made me the most money. It might be free this time. You get on a set, oh yeah, but look, I would like, or not necessarily free, but like a really reduced rate. Show them what you can offer. Show them the type of person you are. Show them that you're available and reliable. And then now they're booking you for thousands of pounds next. And you've got a relationship that started from you doing a favor, but it's going to become very lucrative to you because it's not always going to need to be like that. So in terms of building your CV, in terms of like standing out with things like that and really trying to get these jobs as you get older or position yourself in these places, some of those things that I said will help, or what Sir said, volunteering, sending letters or finding unique ways to reach out to people and building your skills as well, because especially in this environment. Anyone else want to know in terms of more like the corporate side or the more job side, or because not everyone is going to be an entrepreneur, not everyone is going to be interested in business. Like there's still the other side which is just as important, just depending on who you are. What about you? What are you interested in?
I wanted to be a tutor or teacher when I was younger.
Yeah.
But now I think I want to do like more things in technology.
Yeah. Good. What made you change, or what's making you sort of like change?
Well, I feel like I want to be able to explain the stuff in tutoring and teaching as well as like other people would do it. Yeah.
Have you tried to teach before? Even though you're young, like there's still certain things that regardless of you lot's age you can do now, because at the end of the day you could literally go and do tutoring tomorrow. You know maths, I'm pretty sure you know English, I'm pretty sure you're probably smart and you've got a decent level of knowledge at the very least as a year 10 student. If you go and teach Key Stage 1 maths, you could go and tutor young people, 5, 6, 7 years old. It's basic for them, but and you could. This is what I'm saying about in terms of just starting and practicing. And it's like, even if you fail, the good thing is it's just one less thing you need to worry about. So, do you know what I mean? If you started tutoring in the next year, maybe in your little cousins or your little family members or people in Hare's family, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you could find out very quickly if that is something that you want to do long term or not. And then it doesn't have to be in the back of your mind, maybe do I want to tutor or can I? Do you know, like there's ways to actually find out some of these things and it makes the path a lot clearer. So don't feel like, oh, I'm too young, I can't do this yet. Obviously legally there's certain things you aren't going to be able to do yet at your ages. But in terms of being a teacher or in terms of ever offering advice to people, things like that, as long as you know more than the person you're teaching, you're an expert in the field to them. So you lot could probably teach. There's certain things I would have forgot that from school that you lot would be able to teach me now. It doesn't matter that I'm 13 years older than you. It doesn't matter that I'm a grown-up. You have more knowledge in that area. And this is another reason why research is good, because it positions you in a place where you are more knowledgeable than the average person. Knowledge is power. You can sell information to people. So it just allows you a lot more opportunities. It allows you a lot more perceived value. And yeah, in terms of the teaching stuff, don't think that you couldn't try that tomorrow and tutor people. I know people that are tutoring people making 25, 50, £100 an hour, just depending on obviously the level, the subject and whatever. Even my sister's husband is a tutor and they recently moved to China and he just teaches English. So we all know English, you know what I mean? In England, you actually learn English. Who would even think sitting here that you could just go to another country where English isn't a first language and teach it? But like, that's how simple some things actually can be. You just have to research these things. Because if I didn't say that, some of you lot wouldn't have even registered that. And now it can be like, oh my gosh, wow, I didn't even think of that. And that is everything. There's so many different things that you're going to learn just by researching, by talking to people, by understanding things that are going to become apparent to you. And as they become apparent, it's like, whoa, like your eyes genuinely start to open. Like you start to open your horizons and realize there's so much more out there for me than I even realized. And it's a really comforting feeling because it can give you a better life than you might have realized you can even have. So yeah. Anyone else? I just pick on people. Like there's not that much people left, to be fair. What about you at the front? Yeah, what do you want to do or what?
I want to be a book editor.
A book editor. Fairs. What does that involve?
Basically just like reading. Authors like bring a manuscript to you and then you'll read it and decide whether or not it gets published or not to change and whatnot.
Or is it any specific like genres or just?
Just general fiction.
Yeah. And you love reading books, you read all the time. That's really good. And is there anything you're doing to sort of get there? Or is it a bit more casual? Or?
I just read, my parents read the LRB, so I read that one.
Yeah. Perfect, good. See, I want to talk about one of my friends as well, who was, I remember being in school with them. He was my form everything. His name was Sahir. And from year 7, he knew what he wanted to do. This is a rare case. Not everyone's going to know exactly what they want to do, but this is the side of it in terms of someone who did and why it's important to, if you actually know and believe, lean into it as much as you can. He, from the day we got into year 7, I'm going to be a pilot. I love planes. I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to be a pilot. year 8, year 9, year 10, I'm going to be a pilot. I remember one time his eyesight wasn't the best and he was wearing glasses. And he went to get a test and they were talking about his eyes might not be enough to be a pilot. And he's in year 9 crying about it because he was so certain that he was going to be a pilot. We're 25 now, no, sorry, we're 27 now. He's a pilot. He flies for British Airways. He's doing his dream job. Pilots make a lot of money because obviously it's a really cool thing to do. And yeah, 16 years later, after all that experience, after all that schooling, after all that practice, he's a pilot. So you can actually know what you want to do at this age. You don't need to feel pressure to, and it might change, everyone's different, but that's just an example of someone who did know what they wanted to do from your age, and they managed to materialize years later. Same thing, I've got friends in multiple places. I've got a friend who's a well-known actor. In school, I want to be an actor. I love acting, I love drama. In drama, doing all these things. How are you doing stuff like that? But my point is being intentional in what you're doing. So he would go to the castings, he would go try modeling, he would try this. Lo and behold, get a big break, you're on Top Boy now, bam, you're an actor. So it's like, these are things that actually you can do, even at your age. So whether you know, whether you don't know, you will have a lot of control of your life and what you can do. And yeah, just lean into it. So if you really love that and you're really sure you love that, there's no reason why in 10 years, you won't be publishing all the best books in the world. Yeah? Go ahead.
Since you were an actor, why didn't you like pursue it?
Pardon?
Before?
For me? Oh, no, that was what, in terms of the show? Oh, no, that wasn't acting, that was like reality TV show. So that was like the equivalent of, like, I don't know if you've got cameras in here, but that would be the equivalent of a camera being there. They just set up loads of cameras around the school. And it would, like, your day-to-day school life was that, and it was just recorded. So it wasn't like acting, it wasn't scripted or anything, it was just TV, essentially.
It was true.
Yeah, the whole thing was true. Like, all the year groups, everything, everyone was, it would be the equivalent of you lot going on half term at the end of, I think it's the end of the month, and then you come back, literally that's how it happened. When you came back in April, there was just cameras in the school for 6 weeks. Not people running around with cameras like that. I'm talking just, it's called a fly on the wall series, so just cameras on the wall. Just like how you lot have CCTV, and I'm pretty sure you lot still do crazy things, or you lot still say crazy things, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly how it was. You forget they were there. Only very rarely would someone be a camera like that, and then you know they're there and they're walking around the school. Maybe like 1 in 20 times. It was just cameras on the wall. You might walk into school in the morning, they'll give you a mic, because they started identifying people that they knew would sort of have more of a prominent place in the show. But it would just be like that, and you just forget it was there. So, no, I wasn't acting. I liked acting, but I never cared to be an actor. So, yeah. What about you? What do you want to do?
I want to work like in TV. I'm not sure if like a videographer or like with sets.
Oh, is it cool? That's good. That's my industry. So I do a lot, not necessarily TV, but obviously it's a big scope. Even behind you, you see there's a camera. I work with videographers every day, photographers. The business I'm building now is for them, so they can have a profile on there and people can go in there if they need to hire videographers, photographers, directors of photography, all of that stuff. So it's a very cool industry, very lucrative, very fun and fast-paced, and you can do TV, or you could do music videos which are like really chaotic, or you could do short films which are really long and you're with the same sort of people, or films but they're a bit more boring, and it's just depending on what you want to do. It's good to know the broad industry, but as you get older, as you realize more what you want to do, you can start to like niche down and you'll know what part of it will suit you better. It's really good. Anyone else got any questions? It's a good time to ask questions. Promise, I'm not going to bite.
We've only got a couple of minutes left, so if you haven't got any sort of burning questions, now is the time.
Go on.
I don't know if it's a bit like invasive, but like, you know, like after jail, was it like difficult to bring yourself back up?
Difficult in a mentality sense of the money side of things. So it's like, yeah, so obviously I went to jail for drug dealing. So my whole thing was just, I always just liked money. And I didn't really see much of a way to service that in school because of my lack of knowledge behind things. So it's like, obviously there was things in school and there was teachers encouraging me to do certain things, but I just didn't see how that would have fulfilled me or interested me in terms of the ambitions that I had. Naturally, at my age at the time, which will be similar for probably a lot of the boys in here as well, like the people that you see making a lot. It's a bit different now, actually. You have streamers, you have Kai Cenat, you have things like that. We had less of that. So the people that I saw making money, footballers, rappers, drug dealers, or like people that are just doing general crime. Tried football, didn't work. Didn't really care to rap that much. It felt like it left me with a few options. And then naturally, again, this is where I go back to the environment thing of the people that you're around. I was around people, the way I even started was just being around people that were doing it to a point where I was just like, nah, I'll never do it. It doesn't make sense to me. Suddenly these things start to make sense because they become normalized. You start to think, oh, do you know what? Everyone's doing it. I could just do it a bit on the side as well. It becomes gateways and you get into doing things that you won't even expect that you'll do. And that's how it happened. So, but yeah, I ended up, obviously, I was making a lot of money from it. Got in trouble, went to prison, whatever. When I come out now, I had the decision of, it's an option I could go back to. There's a lot of money. Or am I going to stick to what I'm saying and now be a role model, change my life and just show that these skills are actually transferable? So the hardest part of it was for me going to turning away from the money and starting afresh. That was the main difficulty. For me, in terms of being a self-employed person, it didn't really affect me too much in terms of like CV and stuff like that because it didn't really matter. I was building everything myself. And at the end of the day, I feel like if you're true to yourself and you're doing positive things, it's okay. Like I can use it as a part of my story in a positive way, much more than in a negative way. And obviously I didn't do any violent crimes, or you can tell when you look at me or when you speak to me that it was much more of a mistake rather than my character. So it's okay for me and I managed to turn it around, but it is difficult, especially just renewing your mind and changing your thought process behind certain things. That's going to be the most difficult thing with a lot of things. You're going to start something and then you might get to a point where you need to pivot, you need to change. How can you actually change your mindset to allow you to effectively do that? If you turn around tomorrow and you don't want to do book editing anymore, how are you going to deal with the pressures of feeling like, oh, I put so much time into this, should I change it or not? Or this is what my mum expects from me, this is what my dad expects from me, how do I not do that? So it's not just me going to prison and having to change. There's other pressures you lot are going to deal with where you're going to feel backed into a corner like, oh, can I change? Can I do this? And this is the understanding that as you get older, you will have more control of your life. You're going to have to make hard decisions, but whatever decision you make is going to be the right one, pretty much. But yeah, it was difficult for me, but yeah, it was all right as well. Just got to have that self-confidence that, look, I can do anything. If I can sell drugs, I promise I can sell clothes, I can sell food, I can sell a service, I can do, the skills are transferable. So there's no reason I even should have been doing that in the first place. It's probably even harder than business in a lot of way because of the people that you're dealing with and the negative sides and negative connotations attached to it. So yeah, but you lot seem like smart kids, smarter than I was. So I'm relying on you lot to stay on the straight and narrow and do very well. Yeah.
Probably time for one more question. Who would like to ask the last question?
Go on. Anything, I promise, I'm transparent. Yeah, go on.
Were there any, when you're making your business,
Yeah.
were there any challenges like advertising, like getting people to look towards your company?
Yeah, of course. But with advertising, or if any of you are ever going to start a business, it's not even just a business. It's the same thing when you're applying for jobs and you're sending out your CV. I just play with numbers. At the end of the day, we all understand maths. If you can get 10% replies, then by increasing the amount of people you send that message to, you increase your replies. So if I send a message 100 times and I know on average 10 people are going to reply, send 1,000 messages, it's long, it's going to be a bit more, it's going to take more effort, but you're going to get 100 responses from it. So in terms of business, that's building your client base, that's building people that are actually going to put in money in your pocket. In terms of jobs or corporate or whatever, it's giving you a much better chance at the job that you might want, or much better chance at the salaries that you might want. So outreach, marketing, these things are just a numbers game. Do more, keep going, and yeah, you'll get better results just by laws of numbers. And obviously try and make sure things are good, but at the end of the day, the big priority will be outreach, just reach out to more and more people. I reached out to, genuinely, I've got screen recording hundreds of people, messaging, I'll type in videographer, go on Instagram, message, hey, you look like someone who might need this, here's my prices, bam. Photographer, everything, again and again and again. I'll go check people's followers, click into their followers, see their videographer friends again and again. I sent hundreds of messages, and it probably led to 3 or 4 bookings. But then I used those, took the pictures before and after, or whatever, use that as proof to get me more. The same way you'll send hundreds of messages, you might get a job, and now that job is what's going to be your proof to showing you can fulfill these skills in a certain area and then get more. It's all the same sort of things, whether you want to be corporate, work for someone, which is nothing wrong with that, or you want to be an entrepreneur, work for yourself, which again, is nothing wrong with that. So yeah, options, trust me, you have much more power than you think, especially being 14-year-olds that are just insightful and willing to learn. You'll be fine.
Right, can we give you a huge round of applause, please? I know you've found that really, really useful, and hopefully you can take away lots of lessons from Jordan's experience. And it sounds like many of you have got fantastic ambitions. Remember that, you know, at the heart of being successful is working hard, and that starts with working hard in school, particularly next year when you start your GCSEs. There are lots of people who are successful with qualifications, but there are more people who are successful with qualifications. So yeah, make sure that you know, as you move on from this experience, that you're remaining ambitious and aspirational, but you're grounding that in hard work and good habits.
100%.
Right.
Perfect.
Unite.